The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing.
It just happened again. So folks, if you still do not believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris privately hate each other, you might be convinced after today's story. So last week we covered how Joe Biden interrupted Kamala's big speech on the port strike by doing his own surprise press conference, and even a lot of the media who was initially going to stream Kamala and was now forced to stream Joe Biden was saying, that's a little weird. Why are they not communicating? Well, I'll tell you why they're not quote unquote communicating, because Joe Biden is indirectly, casually, but still pretty obviously trying to sabotage Kamala deliberately. And now it's being alleged. And again, let me be clear. This is alleged. Okay. Some out there are saying this. We have no really substantiated reporting, but apparently there might have been an altercation between Jill Biden, who we know the first lady was the biggest advocate of Biden staying in the race, and Kamala Harris staffers in the White House after Joe's press conference last week, which began with accusations that the Bidens were undermining Kamala deliberately. And it does seem like that very well may be the case because, ladies and gentlemen, it has happened again. Joe Biden has interrupted a big Kamala Harris TV moment by doing his own press conference yet again. Because yesterday Kamala Harris did her mandatory softball interview with the ladies of The View, and Joe Biden interrupted it by doing yet another press conference of his own. And if you still do not believe that this is intentional, you think it might just be a coincidence, take a look at what Joe Biden actually said during this press conference about Governor DeSantis, who Kamala Harris is currently accusing of politicizing Hurricane Milton. Check it out.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
Folks, if you enjoy the content, do us a big favor by hitting that subscribe button down below. Your subscription goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you videos like this. And we are just 30 days away from the election. So let's make sure all of the word gets out there. Do us that favor, hit that red subscribe button. So obviously this is directly undermining Kamala Harris because she has been trying to score political points by claiming that DeSantis is politicizing the situation. And Joe Biden just said,
you know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director.
So, again, look at this entire story, this entire timeline, and really try to tell me that you genuinely don't believe Joe Biden is trying to counter signal Kamala, take little pot shots to undermine her. And Jeremy Boring actually made a pretty good point on this yesterday, which is, there's a running joke that Joe Biden is just really petty. He's like a scorned child that he got pushed out of the race. But as he points out here, for the Biden family, Kamala losing would actually kind of redeem his legacy, right? Because instead of him being humiliated when he was the one who got pushed out of the race, forced to drop out, in the end, in the grand scheme of things, Biden will have the last laugh because they can look and say, well, look, we were right. And whether or not it's true, right, Biden would have lost, obviously, but at least they could stand there and say, well, you guys obviously screwed up when you pushed me out. And that kind of saves his influence, saves his role in the story. But ultimately, however you want to look at it, it seems pretty obvious to me what Trump said at the debate is completely right. They hate each other. But it's also hilarious on the flip side, because when Kamala Harris went on The View, the interview overall was completely painful because it was talking to the ladies of The View. But one of them did ask a very interesting question, which is there anything you would do differently than Joe Biden? And Kamala Harris, maybe shockingly here, says, no, absolutely not.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
There is not anything that comes to mind. I've been part of most of the decisions that have impact. I don't need to tell you why that is kind of a bad answer, right? Because the Biden administration and its policies are ridiculously unpopular. There's a reason why Kamala has been quietly trying to distance herself away from them. But at the same time, I know a lot of conservatives were saying, why would she say this answer? That's a terrible thing to say. But you know what? I will say on the flip side for her, I know a lot of conservatives are saying terrible answer, right? But there is no right answer for her to give here. In fact, that's the best possible one she can say. Because you may say it should be easy. It should be simple. Kamala should just disown Joe Biden and that'll help her politically. Well, again, on the surface, maybe that is true. But on one hand, she's still the vice president, so it would be a bad look. And as you can already see from the tiny little undermining of Biden and Kamala, their public relationship is already on shaky grounds. And all it takes is a little criticism of Biden himself for Biden or his family on the flip side to come out against Kamala Harris and say, okay, well, screw you, Kamala. You're terrible. You suck. And then the next thing you know, they're beefing with each other, not just privately, but publicly as well. And then the next thing you know, Kamala Harris will be completely doomed in the election because she will have internally divided the party, started this big, gigantic drama, and you're cooked at that point, right? So the best thing Kamala can do is not piss off Joe Biden or attack him so much to the degree where he decides he's going to take his full revenge on you, And that's something to consider as well. Kamala is completely trapped in this situation. This is arguably a reason why, if you were the Democrats, it was never a good idea to nominate her, because you want to be able to pick someone who is not directly tied to Biden. It doesn't have this problem on their hands. But obviously, now that is what they are stuck with. And they have Joe Biden trying to undermine her. Kamala Harris stuck having to defend Biden's record, even though it is losing her points politically. And I guess it just simply is what it is. I'm entirely here for it, right? As Sun Tzu or whoever it was said, do not interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And Joe Biden here obviously is being a little bit petty, trying to undermine Kamala. And obviously I'm here for it. Because not only does it help us politically, obviously it does, but on top of that, it's just really funny. And honestly, it's kind of iconic, like in a very ironic way. To me, Joe Biden is sort of growing on me just because the way he has handled this situation is so insanely petty, but also like hilarious. You know what I mean? It's great. It really is great. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this and this entire situation in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.